someone would have said, who would you say would be the last person on this block to be an activist? You would have been really close, because I see you as just sort of a regular guy who works within the system, who's, goes to work every day. I mean, I don't see you don't look like Abby Hoffman. You look like a guy who works within the system and is very plain spoken, and you walk your dog and you're part of the community. So how did this mantle get thrust upon you?
Well, I'm still working within the system. We have followed every single rule that New York Rising has posted, has put out, and has said fill out this paperwork. I have, and people come to me and they say, well, what's the process? Well, hang on. I have a copy of the manual. Anything that was posted online from New York Rising, I have read and I have access to. And they would ask me a question. Hold on, it's page 14. It's third paragraph, or it's 192, and here's what they're asking you to do. And it got to the point where there's such a vacuum of intelligent information, intelligent and compassionate information that comes from this program, that people are at their wits' end. I had a woman calling me the other day. She was in absolute tears, and I stood in the middle of Best Buy and I listened to what she was telling me, because no one at New York Rising would take the time to work with her and tell her what was going on. It was a series of mistakes that was made in her program. I could tell they were mistakes. She knew they were mistakes. The program admitted they were mistakes. But she was absolutely a mess. And
you become kind of a therapist for these people, I think.
In some cases, not a therapist as much as an understanding ear. There is no reason why people should be made to feel guilty about getting assistance from this program, and that happens all the time. There's no reason.
We've paid for the program already. Our taxes paid for the program beforehand.
Absolutely, and it's every single citizen's and our elected officials' duty to make sure that that money is not wasted in duplicated paperwork, in duplicated effort, and lost laptops and intentionally damaged office equipment. It's not really the right thing to do. The Stanford Act is what New York Rising and the officials always quote, the duplication of benefits. Well, duplication of benefits, you know what, sometimes it happens and we try to fix it immediately. Sometimes it's accidental. And I don't know of anyone who has done it on purpose. But the scary part is that if you're the program, you can duplicate effort over and over and over again with absolutely no reason or no repercussion in anything that you do. So if you tell an applicant that they have to resubmit the paperwork, even though it means a caseworker has to sit there and redo all the paperwork, that's a duplication of effort. And there's
no rule against it.
There's no rule against it.
It's I guess what we're looking for is the benefit in the duplication of benefits.
Yeah.
There aren't a whole lot of benefits to duplicate.
No, there really aren't. At this point, they're not. They've sucked the thing dry. There's nothing left. I mentioned that the Housing Trust Fund Corporation, the minutes of that, the corporate counsel for New York Rising, and I forget her name, was asked about something called recapture. Recapture is if you have a duplication of benefits, the process by which New York Rising will try to get the money back from you. This woman actually said that as far as recapture is concerned, we're holding back 50% of their grant in case of additional money. Well, hang on a minute. How are you going to get completed to pay to pay your contractor to finish your job to get to 50% so that you can have the recapture potential? It's an obvious. The whole program is not thought through. They don't have a plan to get us back into our homes. They really don't. Their plan is to have someone else fund the grant, have a charity step in, have your 401k robbed, your family chip in, short-term home equity loans or lines of credit or anything but the grant. It's amazing to me.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's truly amazing. There's no plan.
Wow. Well, as we speak, your home is 13 feet up in the air on wood cribbings.
It's very, very high up there.
What stage are you at?
Well, we're at, a couple of things came into alignment for us. One of them was the clarification from New York Rising, where they said we're going to give you this amount of money, this additional amount of money, and we signed it immediately. We signed it in our pajamas as soon as it came. We electronically did what we needed to do to get it. We had an opportunity for some short-term housing that was not far from our current house, so it was a temporary thing, and we had some money that was lined up through savings that we had, and we thought that we would be able to, with the money and a couple of loans, we would be able to go ahead and make this project happen. But now, since the whole program has stopped, dead in its tracks, well, there's a huge chunk of money that's currently missing. So, we'll see.
So the program's up in the air, and your house is
everything
up in the air.
Everything is up in the air. Yeah, it's a scary thing. The progress payments, for the time being, they'll be made, but
they'll be made out of your pocket,
they are
and maybe relatives, whatever. However you scrape it up.
Absolutely. Well, they've been being made out of my pocket. They're coming from that first 50% of the original grant award. That was enough to basically lift the house. That was it. Not to put it down, but to lift it. And that the revised 50% would get us much further.
The putting of it down is important. The
Very
lifting of it is good, but the lowering of it and the foundation and all that.
All of that is extremely expensive, and we'll get through it, but it's not going to be an easy thing. It is definitely not an easy thing to get through that, and it's we're very lucky that we were able to put some assets in line before we started this. We are short some assets at this point, but this is something that is happening all over Long Island, where you come by the house, it's still up in the air, and you wonder what progress payment did the Reillys miss. And it's,
Right, absolutely.
Is it the plumbing, is it the foundation? But we'll see.
Well, with regard to the program, with regard to your home, stay tuned.